We're going to be hearing from our community standards committee, our investment committee, and Ujima staff today, and we're actually going to get started today with Ujima staff. And so,
Woo!
yeah. Oh wow! I guess I'm kicking us off. Yay! All right. So I'll get started with my reflection. Yeah, and just, share kind of what my 2024 looked like. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Ray and I use the they series pronouns, and I'm our Director of Coalitions, Policy, and Grassroots Organizing. And instead of having a list of accomplishments and shortfalls this year, I decided that I actually wanted to talk about some of the really big moments that happened for me this year in picture format. So one of the really cool and what I will start with is these are some of them have to do kind of with CPGO work at Ujima broadly. And some of them have to do with my own personal transformation and professional development. The first one you'll see here is a little picture, and it's called Empowering Communities Through Solidarity Economics. And this was a really, really cool podcast that Nia, Sierra, and myself got to do, really talking about how we empower communities through solidarity economics. And we got to share kind of through our roles how we do that. And so I share a lot about our coalition policy and grassroots organizing work. This podcast was actually recorded in 2023, but it was published in March of this year. And I do believe that the link is somewhere on our Instagram. You can find that. Go listen to it. I think it was pretty powerful. And it was really an honor to be able to share this professional moment with my colleagues Nia and Sierra. The next photo, which you'll see, is from from the Coalition Hall. So Coalition Hall is a program that I launched this year. This was from the inaugural event. It is a quarterly event and it is an invite-only event that happens with some of our closest partners who are doing legislative work of some sort of legislative advocacy. And so the structure is set up so that two organizations at a time will do a presentation on their legislative advocacy. There will be some slight question and answer and discussion. And then afterwards, there is a larger discussion around how we see in our organizations kind of fitting into that work, or how do we see our work overlapping. The intention of Coalition Hall is to really build a strong legislative base between our partners, introducing partners to one another, and really building up that trust and camaraderie for hopefully a really strong and powerful legislative bloc in Boston. And so we're really excited that that program launched, and our next one is coming up next month, and we're really, really excited about it. If you're a part of an organization that might be interested in Coalition Hall, please let me know. I do want to know that the coalition halls do happen quarterly, and so it's not like a regular coalition meeting where, we are kind of coalescing around one issue, but think of it as a town hall for legislative issues. The next photo, what you'll see is from the Coalition's Policy and Grassroots Organizing member team. They hosted their first event called Salon. It was a salon on housing in Massachusetts. And I won't go too deep into that because I'm sure when CPGO member team has the opportunity to reflect, then they will share a lot about it. But I was very, very proud of them for putting on this amazing event. Then you'll see photos from our work with Northeastern Climate Justice Action Planning Committee. We hosted an event at Black Market Nubian. The last things that I'll talk about is our coalition work. So what you'll see here at the bottom on the left is our work that we do with Black Mass Coalition and Black and Indigenous Resistance Fund. With Black Mass Coalition, we were able to talk to 44 Black and Indigenous organizations across the state this year, to get a sense of what is impacting them in their work, what is prohibiting them from being able to achieve their dreams. And with Black and Indigenous Resistance Fund, we were able to launch new programs where we provided 5 sabbatical grants. Between 5 and 10, I believe we ended up doing 5 organizational sustainable infrastructure sustainability grants at $20,000, at $125,000. And then we ended up doing 6 small project grants for organizations. We are still very much so active with the Public Banking Coalition. Our bill did not go through last year. It was sent to study after a briefing and after making it through Financial Services. It did not make it through Ways and Means Committee. And then lastly, I'll talk about another professional development opportunity I got this year, which was Nia and I got a chance to participate in a really cool cohort called Resilient Futures, hosted by the Organizing Center, where organizations in the Northeast came together to talk about how we build resilient movements through capacity building, through trust, and through building and shaping culture. So that is going to be the end of my reflection. I would say um, some of the highlights were just kind of what I named here. I think some of the learning lessons was for me was definitely around um, you can't do everything. Even with all of the support from my colleagues and our wonderful membership, everything that I wanted to do, it just couldn't take place this last year. And so what I've learned is to really take a step back and assess what are the needs of the people right now. We can't move at the speed of campaigns. We need to move at the speed of trust. And I think Ujima is teaching me that lesson more and more every day. The last thing I'll say is if you know that we are also a part of the Better Budget Alliance, and that is for participatory budgeting in Boston. If you live in Boston and you are at least 11 years of age, then you can vote between now and February 15th between 14 different projects that are happening, resident projects that are happening in the city. And that link was just dropped in the chat. And yeah, I'll stop there and pass it on to my next colleagues.
Y'all applause in person. Uh, this is a very nice transition right here. It's actually myself. Mind if I?
Oh,
yeah. I should have had a seat next to you. That's okay. Okay, so, all right. So I go by Geo as visually referenced here. I use the he, him series, and I am one of our community engagement managers alongside Mary Gashaw, who is on Zoom right now. Show some love to either of us or community engagement in the chat if you would like. I'd like to share some highlights that you can visibly read along. Some of them are represented in photo. We had 2 Ujima member orientations this year. One in February at the Black Market in Roxbury, and one in November at NICOB, the Native American Indian Center of Boston. We had a number of responsibilities for the April Assembly, which was held in the neighborhood of Mattapan. The Ujima Appreciation started off last 2 years ago as a volunteer appreciation effort and turned into an Ujima appreciation effort overall. I think, let's see if anybody was here in that photo. All right, if you see yourself in the photo, that is good. That is a good thing. All right. Community engagement responsibilities. We've been hybrid since late 2023. So that means we conducted a full year of hybrid Ujima Wednesdays in spaces like this. In the past, it's been at Black Market, as well as the UFI Mattapan, the Urban Farmers Institute, and other venues that are well equipped for those workshops, like the Joe May Dance Studios and more. So really thankful for those partnerships. The Ujima Cafe season was debuted earlier in 2024. Really took off in the later spring. It was really awesome in the summer with a lot of Ujima Good Business Alliance, partnerships being showcased through that pop-up approach. And then the last thing, it's not the last thing we did, but the last spotlight is just community outreach across the city of Boston. And that is a social emotional highlight for myself and Mary. We just really enjoy just being out here with our peers, with our, the people that's been here before us, the people that are getting newly oriented to Ujima. There's a lot to reflect upon. I just want to say in my personal role, I really enjoyed the just echoing the earlier community standards, the revolutionary standards that are always changing and reacting, to like this world that we're in, whether we're talking United States or just Boston. I think that, anybody from Mary to my supervisor and chief of staff, James, to our arts and cultural co-workers, well, we got Ray at Coalition's Policy at Grassroots, Yusuf, Genoa, and more. And so many more, even fellows that I've received and circulated feedback with to make sure that it's like an active, living component of our work. So just wanted to reflect on that ongoing practice. And just a learning is that, just like social media impressions, I said this earlier today, but I've been saying it since like late fall. Social media impressions don't always equal actual like material results. And I just wanted to bring that up here in this space. It is a hybrid space, we are doing work, but certain goals, it's gonna take a lot of stuff to get the ecosystem at a full working capacity and more. And I guess like the opportunities that I just wanted to say, I'm out of time. My opportunity is to do better with time in 2-minute windows. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gio. That was excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Kamaria Weems. I'm one of 2 co-directors of cultural programs and galleries at Ujima, and I have 3 minutes, so I'm going to do my best. So I wanted to offer just a survey of our accomplishments, both behind the scenes and in the foreground. Yeah, and of course, I wanted to share these pictures. They're from the behind the scenes of all the work that we have been doing as an organization to develop and research what a Ujima branded art space could be. We began with the question of what is the radical potential of Black curation and space making, and delved into that research more deeply with the larger team. Yeah, with the larger team at our Culture Day in 2024. And we got to really dig deeply into concepts, programming, and structure in a more cohesive way. Thank you to Alula, Mary, Ray, Nia, and Arifa for joining me and Sierra, and really building out a body to some of the ideas that we had been really excited about behind the scenes. And that also led to a trip to New York to do a site visit for our gallery research. And you can see in these pictures, thankfully taken by Mary. Unfortunately, that means that Mary, you're not in any of them, but your presence is totally there, and you can see it reflected in like the smiles and the funny faces of us just spending time together and sharing in learning and growth and potentials from learning about what radical cultural space making is happening in New York at the places we got to visit. Also, we got to we got to work on a new ACO member body that we just launched called Member Arts Leads, that we're assembling for more accountability and broadening our insight and imagination for the work that we're doing, specifically around our grant programs. And if you're really excited to work with us in expanding arts and culture solidarity economies, please look out for that application. And so in the foreground, we had a lot of cultural offerings that were beautiful. And some of them were done in collaboration, like Ujima and Creative Wildfires collaboration with Lily Shi, who developed love letters for our ancestors and held a workshop. Oh gosh. Oh my God, so many things. Okay, also 4 exciting ACO workshops. We have one that's happening at the after this. So if you want to stay and participate in the portal between the everyday and the sacred with Tiara Simone Angus, please do. We also have some more, exciting opportunities to be a part of upcoming micro learning pods, an ACO fellowship that the next cycle is coming out. And I just wanted to share a little bit of my learnings that, like Ray said, a lot of work can get done and a lot of things don't get done. So I've been learning more about timelines, work cycles, and not holding the things that don't get done against me or against our team, and really engaging in lots of pivots as ideas and plans can be just really rough drafts. Also really excited about being in a co-formation. I know Mary and thanks, Mary. Mary and Gio have the good fortune of being community engagement managers together, and me and Sierra also have the good fortune of being co-directors. And it's a really exciting formation to develop, and there's a lot of learning there. And I think, yeah, through each check-in, mistake, and celebration, we're cultivating these skills. And I'll just stop there, but thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Perfect. I'll jump in. And then yeah, Yusuf, maybe me and you can, go back and forth over each topic. How's that sound?
Yes, that sounds good.
Cool, cool, cool. Good evening, everyone. I'm Genoa Daly. I'm the Ujima Fund admin. I'm gonna be doing this presentation with Yusuf. Yusuf, I'll let you introduce yourself.
My name is Yusuf Alamutu. I'm the Business Alliance Associate at Ujima.
Cool, cool, cool. And so pretty much on the slideshow, we have four different categories we kind of want to cover today. So we'll start with the Ujima Fund. Earlier in 2024, we made an equity investment in Kadoko Productions, which is an edutainment online company really trying to focus on Black joy and educational programming. So we did that in the pretty much the first half of 2024, and it was pretty cool because that was like our largest investment so far. We raised our quorum from 51% to 60%. So for Ujima, that was also like a big thing for us. Another thing with the Ujima Fund, a lot of our portfolio businesses, we've seen, many different types of like growth. So with Jazzerbain Cafe, business we had invested in a few years ago, they started doing construction. They're located in Roxbury. With Comfort Kitchen, which is a restaurant, they actually got like a pretty big award, which is pretty cool to hear. That they're kind of getting like, nationally recognized, throughout the country or even, the state. Um, and then also the Pearl, which is another restaurant that we've invested in, that they're starting construction and they're really looking to open up their second location in Boston. So it's really cool to see all these businesses growing as, from the time that we've invested in them, but also when they became a part of our alliance. So I think that's my reflection for the Ujima Fund. How about you, Yusuf?
Uh, Thank you, Janelle. I wanted to say that we did a deep dive into the business we need this year, and we spoke with a lot of businesses that were nominated, and now we have 10 new businesses that are added to the UGBA. So that's a win. And and I also wanted to say like we had I don't know if I could talk about this, but we're learning more about the BNCLT, like the like for the most part of the year, just learning what a land trust is and understanding what that. Okay, yeah. I just got a notification, but yeah, just also the yeah, I'll leave it there for that. I
I'll
don't
jump
know if
back in,
I'm able
Yusuf.
to say anything.
No worries, no worries. So yeah, that's pretty much for the UGBA. We got 10 new businesses recently. Just really seeing our alliance grow. I think that's really important for, us as an organization, but like just the fact that, Boston businesses that are members, pretty much nominated, they're interested in our alliance. They want to be a part of our community. They really want to grow with Ujima. So it's really cool to see that. And I know I only have like one more minute left. And I'll kind of cover a little bit of Josh's part, which is our fellow. He's been with us for a little bit over a year, and I'll read his message. He said, "This year I learned more personally and professionally about each individual team member I work with. Additionally, I was able to strengthen connection with my other members of the Ujima family that I might not see consistently." He said, "Third, through the Network for Developing Conscious Communities Conomic course, I was able to better connect with the collective history of cooperatives, gain resources to better support the UGBA, and connect with organizations in the larger ecosystem." So that's, our fellow, which is, part-time, and he's really been able to reflect on the last year, his first full year with Ujima, just learning different aspects and being able to grow professionally. So I think I'll wrap us up there.
Thank you, Janelle.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Natasha. I'm one of the communications associate here at Boston Ujima Project, and obviously a proud member of the communications team. So as the communications team within the Boston Ujima Project, we are at the forefront of shaping and sharing the narrative of the organization. Our role is not only narrating the ongoing story of Ujima, but also creating opportunities for existing members and the broader public to actively contribute to our evolution. Our role is to extend an invitation to the broader public, facilitating their understanding and engagement with Ujima, solidarity, economy, and economic democracy. 2024 was a year of growth and impact, and here are some of the things that we achieved. We successfully launched a dynamic spring and fall event lineup featuring themes like grassroots organizing, independence movements, and Black utopias. We boosted engagement on Instagram and our other social media platforms, incorporating content like videos, graphics from Sierra and Mona, and the essay wire highlights from Alula. We launched a UGBA wire, which is helping keeping our community updated with the latest updates from the UGBA businesses. We integrated some great storytelling into our campaigns, especially through the Ujima Cafe event series and Martha's Vineyard tour. We turned our monthly Ujima Wire newsletter into an ongoing publication to platform emerging and establishing writers from Boston. Make sure to check out our blog. We began issue 2 of Fortunately magazine, set to launch this spring. Follow Fortunately magazine on Instagram to hear more. We tabled at Black Zine Fair, Pratt Book Fair, multiple formats, and more. We had some challenges, such as coordinating content production and event promotion across multiple platforms while maintaining quality and consistency, requiring tight deadlines and clear communication. Balancing the workload among team members, each with unique responsibilities, is always an ongoing challenge and a learning process, but we work together to ensure no one is overwhelmed while delivering high quality content. We experienced some lower engagement rates on our newsletters. And with all that, we learned the power of direct and engaging emails and the importance of leveraging all platforms to connect within our audience. And what we look forward to in 2025 is to focus on creating more engaging and accessible content across all our channels at Ujima Boston, and continuously rethinking how we tell our stories and uplifting the voices of our community, and strategize to revitalize our newsletter engagement and better serve our readers, and more books. And that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Good evening. I think this is me who's going to represent the senior leadership team. I'm waiting for my pal Justin to join me. So pull up a chair.
Okay.
And I'm making Justin join me because this is part of the reflection. I'm gonna keep it short. And Justin, lean in so I can see you because it's on blur. Or not, yeah, blur. Okay. Mary said I have 2.5 minutes. So I just want to offer a reflection. I think there are probably 3 words that I want to offer in terms of how I would describe 2024. And those 3 words are people, I think, which we try to talk about a lot often, trust and kindness. And the thing I just want to point to more than anything that everybody knows, we celebrated last year, which is that we got our independence last year. So with regards to our senior leadership team, and maybe I'll try to keep it short so that perhaps James, I don't think you want to, because you've represented other aspects, but maybe Sierra, you want to say something. I do just want to say really quickly, it probably cannot be hard to imagine what a growth opportunity that was for our senior leadership team. And I guess just one anecdote that I want to share just really quickly is I was somewhere. I can't even remember where I was now. I traveled so much. I can't even remember where I was. I think I might have been in Denver and in California. And essentially just was not really able to check emails, check in, keep up in any way, shape, or form. And one of the things that was great, this was probably a period of about a week or two, was I was able to come back to my counterparts on our senior leadership team, James Van Boy and Sierra Peters, just taking over and doing that decision making. So just in terms of our independence process, James led the process of us choosing our PEO to do our HR functions, for example. Sierra led the process of us choosing our insurance broker, which insurance is very important. And it was super affirming to be able to come back and have been away for me personally and not have any concerns. And I truly had not a singular concern. I didn't have a day during those 1 or 2 weeks where I wondered what was happening or where I was concerned that maybe something dropped. And so that's the people part, and that's just not even extensive, or that's not the people part, that's the trust part. Kindness, I just want to say, I have found myself having had opportunity at several points over 2024, reflecting on our team. And one word that came up over and over for me. Oh, wow. That's what that is. I was like, are we doing commercial breaks? Okay. Well done, Mary. Well done. Let me just wrap this up real quick. Because that's also an Oscar moment. The person who just keeps talking, that's me. But one word that I found myself coming up with to describe our team over and over, who said this is gonna be long? Was kind. And so I just really appreciate that. Our team is a kind team. And that is just something that I really appreciate. Every single person on our team is kind. And I have come to appreciate that. I feel like that has allowed me to lean into my kinder self. And then finally, Justin is here because Justin is the ED of Center for Transforming Communities. They are our translocal member in Memphis, Tennessee. Justin's here visiting. Yay, see, there's a reason for this. We've been hanging out, we've been talking, and this is the people part. So the other thing that I've been able to reflect on over the past year is just the caliber, the commitment, just the excellence of all of the people that are in our networks. We have dynamite membership bodies, community standards team, investment committee. We started a member fund management committee last year. So just the people in the Ujima network who are just generous and just very, very thankful for that. Part of our independence was we now have our own board, and they're rock stars. And that's what I want to talk about for 2024. And then I guess 2025, we're going to continue.
Nope.
All right. Bye,
Yeah,
Mary.
let me say one thing. Mary, don't
All
cut me.
right. Sierra's
One
going to let me finish, but
we're
she got to
talking
say
about
something. Go ahead.
last year that I think is super important and was an amazing thing that we got to do is that we got to have our first brief foray into guaranteed income. Or
Oh, word.
we never
Yeah.
talked about that. Last year, alongside Up Together and a couple other partners, we launched the Beautiful Seed Fund, where we were able to resource elders, queer people, Black people, Black leaders, young queer Black leaders, Black elders. And it was quite literally the best part of my summer was being on Zoom, showing people who have never signed on to their online banking how to do so, so they could access funding, resources, and the support that they should have gotten the entire time. So I just wanted to make sure that we note that this time because we never talked about it.
Thank you, Sierra. And James turned his camera on. Mary said, I'm happy y'all taking these time warnings as kindness. But I think James wants to say something.
Nah, I just really love this team. And I really love doing this work. And I'm just really proud I get the opportunity to do this. And this year really showed me that I'm right where I need to be, you know? So that's all I wanted to say. But I'll pass it to facilitators so we can pass it to who's
Thank you.
Ray. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ray.
Thank you, James.
Uh-huh.
All right, y'all. So we are about to actually pass it to our community standards committee member, Luis Cato, who is a culture worker with over 30 years of experience in Hartford, DC, Seattle, and Greater Boston. A former coffee house and bookstore owner in Hartford, he has championed third places in Black and Brown community. Louise led Eggleston Square Main Streets in Roxbury, Jamaica Plain, pioneered placekeeping, managed the Mass Cultural Council Cultural District Initiative, and most recently served as executive director of Central Square BID in Cambridge. So without further ado, Louise.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Cotto. I use the he, him series. I took reflection super literal and wanted to reflect back to the humble beginnings of the Community Standards Committee. Yusuf is helping me with that as he shares just like 9 quick images and then a reflection on our last number of months of 2024. And I shouldn't talk so fast because then I can help you stuff out. I'm looking up. That's funny. If I look like this, maybe I'm no. Good. I'm good.
Share your screen for now. Unshare? Yeah, let me. Why is it doing the Zoom thing?
So if you minimize March 2018, Ujima Project put out a call asking people to nominate anybody they would want to be on this community standards committee, which was it's just interesting and cool because then I get an email from Ujima saying, hey, someone nominated you. And I didn't know who, but the next process was going to one of our allies at City Life Vida Urbana, one of the many spaces between now and then and now that have graciously lent us space to do this work. And we all recorded videos. Everyone who was nominated recorded a video making a case for to what you would call it, to be selected. Lucky enough, I was a former elected official, so I just whipped out that tape and just played it, even though I had nothing to do. No, I'm joking. But in Ujima fashion, in 2 months' time, oh, it's not.
Click on it.
Oh, I can click on this. In 2 months' time, May of 2018, Ujima was already putting out congratulating the people that were selected. Along with this, the Community Standards Committee also has 2 members from the investment committee, right? From the Business Alliance. So those aren't listed here right now. And right after that, we did a retreat over at the over at the dojo, JP dojo just down the street. Alex, and I do not want to cover Chuck's face. Chuck Turner commemorated his 5th year passing December Christmas of 2019. He was with us for the year for those first meetings. And then we met. This is August meeting 2018. This is one of the one of the many Ujima offices that we've had have been used again. And again, I just want to get the ones with Chuck in there. And you'll see different people who have made Ujima part of their history. And then we made the big announcement, 36 standards over 8 categories, I remember, if I'm remembering that correctly. Yep. This was an incredible day-long event that we were just a small part of it. Joyce, who's still with us, Ellie's still with us. I'm still trying to plug away. And the other, this is the whole at that time standards committee. And then we continue to meet. And this was shortly before this one, which was the very last meeting we had before COVID. Yeah. Wow. This was March 9th of 2020. 1 week later, a week and a half later, we were all told everywhere to the world changed. Wow. This was on space over on Mass Ave. Mass Ave would be right here, right across the street from Wally's. And COVID came, everyone learned how to do Zoom. We tried to do more Zooms and now we're addicted to Zoom. But 2024 comes and now Ujima occupies space still in the Cambridge Innovation Center downtown. And we got caught with a backlog. We did all the standards, and the way, staying true to fashion, the way someone gets brought to us is a member recommends them. And the member recommends them, they fill out an application. We went through this period where we were trying to get people to apply and take them in, and now that word has gotten out that we're like pretty cool. That we're just getting a lot of them. So we've had in the past 2 months a couple marathon sessions, which have then turned into just little by little accepting more and more people into the Good Business Alliance. The people who are doing the onboarding are doing a great job, so that our our not ready ratio is super low, and it has to be for and then Nia and the team goes back to that business on why people we felt they were not ready. But the onboarders, if I can say that, have done an incredible job of explaining those. And we also, all these interviews as they come in have taught us a lot, because it was a very not idealistic, aspirational set of standards. So, but we realized that a lot of people might need, depending on where they're at, they might need a little help in not just explanation, because when you explain, they go, oh, that's cool. Like a lot of people don't know what a sanctuary policy is, and people get confused with Corey and what does that mean? Like, and people just, yeah, I'll do it. Well, you don't have to do it, right? Type of thing. So, and even something as simple as and not simple, we're learning, like, do you commit to looking into doing non-toxic cleaning solutions for your business? And it's easy to say, but we don't have any backup to say this is what you can do, right? And so we've thrown that on ourselves to look at the standards, to see where we're asking for a lot that might be a stretch for people, to help them, because we found that people are willing to take on more. Obviously, as long as it doesn't really kill the bottom line for a lot of struggling businesses, but especially with something like cleaner solutions when cleaning, or even being just with employees when election time comes up. And what does it mean to be open to community feedback? Because we do have not a standard, but we do have a thing where we will be at some point doing an audit, We haven't done that, right? So we wanted to make sure that everyone is cool with what they're saying yes to now. Even if some aren't ready by the definition to answer some of the questions, so that they can be held accountable for that in the future. And again, the reflection from this past year is that we are living up to like our commitment to trying to get as many people in the good business lines as possible, as opposed to just saying that like our job ended there. Yay, we put these standards together. Not true. And this is the fun part. We get to meet wonderful people doing wonderful work as someone who's a small business fan and a former small business owner. And Mayor, you didn't put the little time thing on the corner. So I'm gonna do the song myself. Wah, wah, wah. But that's really it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. These are amazing.
Thank you so much, Luis. We're gonna have our final speaker, Pat Tamino from the Ujima Fund Investment Committee. Pat teaches 10th grade history at the Boston Green Academy in Brighton. Before completing teacher training at Boston College, he spent nearly a decade in green investing, including as director of socially responsible investing at Zevin Asset Management. Pat also worked as a producer for WBUR's Open Source and as a policy researcher for causes like Elizabeth Warren's 2012 Senate campaign. A Harvard graduate, he lives in Brighton with his partner, Mary Claire, and their dog, Piper. Can we give a warm welcome to Pat?
Hi. Thank you. I have no slides, but I have notes on my phone, but I'm gonna try to look up. And just like those, I don't know, I was really struck again, and thanks, Nia, for bringing me into this work by those terms that we throw around all the time, but they're so powerful. Solidarity economy. You could have that at every scale, and we should have it at every scale. And economic democracy, which is in such short supply in our country and around the world. But I need to remember those words and teach them to my students. I'm Pat, I'm he, him, and I started in the socially responsible investing field when I was very young, like out of college, and that's how I came into the world of impact finance, trying to make capitalism work for communities. Jury's out on that whole project, but Ujima is succeeding in what it's trying to do, and I'll get more specific about that. But I made a pivot in my life about just before, beginning of the pandemic, I started investigating becoming a high school history teacher. And with the support of my community and people who I know who've been teaching in Boston public schools, with support from, a scholarship that I needed to get the training I needed, and mentor teachers and my students who've taught me so much over the years and dunk on me constantly. I'm now a teacher at Boston Green Academy, which is a in-district charter school in the BPS. So I'm in the union, and I'm the rep in my building, but we also have to agree to some things that our principal likes and we don't like so much as a in-district charter. But I thought I'd share a few things, and I've been serving on the investment committee since 2019, I think, Nia, when you helped to bring me into this work. It's been 5 years, and a lot of people know this, but this is kind of like a swan song for me. It's my last, I think, Ujima commitment, because I'm coming off of the investment committee after really just being humbled to participate in that work, to work with companies that like Lewis and his team have done so much with on the UGBA side. By the time they get to the investment pipeline and we get to work with them on the investment committee, and working with my colleagues who are investment professionals and impact finance people of all stripes. So this is the end of my journey with Ujima as a committee member, but I've seen under the hood. And I am very happy to continue as a member, and I'm very excited to just stay engaged with this community. But I thought what might be helpful, and okay, I'm going to start a 5-minute clock starting now, maybe 4-minute clock starting now, is that you hear some things I hear from my students. I'm a teacher, I teach 10th graders. My students are hail from all over our city. Most of them have hour-and-a-half to 2-hour commutes from all of Boston's communities to where we are in Brighton, which they describe as the most random place in the world. My students are My students are like 45% Black, 30% Hispanic, and white, Asian in the remaining percentage. They are 35% on individualized education plans and probably more than 60% on free and reduced lunch. So they see Boston and they know a lot. So, my students always talk about how they depend on the businesses in their communities. They're excited when something new comes in. They're very critical when the new thing that comes in is no good or not useful. They patronize businesses all over our city. Like a lot of my students stop for their breakfast on the way from like Roslindale or Mattapan. They'll stop in Copley to get their breakfast sandwich, and then that delays things 40 minutes, and sometimes they're late to me, but they're well fed. But they will find what works for them in our city, and they feel very at home in Copley doing that, and all over our city. They want business activity in their community. They want jobs, like so bad. They want jobs. Like as soon as they become like work eligible, like Mr. Like my mom will let me get a job. I want to get a job. Can I get a job? And I try to push them. I suss it out for like a second. I will say like, hey, like, are your needs taken care of? Like, do you feel like you can, focus on studies and maybe not do a job because you might not get the bang for buck you think you will, but they all want the job and they're going to work throughout our community. And we want them, UGBA, again, to have a quality job at a business that's grounded here in our community. I brought a bunch of students to Commonwealth Kitchen last June, just so they could see like how businesses kick off and people follow their dreams here from a very small level. And they like their eyes just like lit up. They got a bunch of cookies from Clark's Cakes and Cookies. And yeah, and saw someone who's following their dream and working hard like every day. And to them, that like looked like magic. But my students are also like really, really cynical and like properly so about like investment, resource flows, how care flows inside of their communities. They're like really cynical, like in the best way. Like they think that like Trump is going to definitely take Greenland. They just think it's going to happen, and that's because they know how power works. They really they really do. So I'm going to track that one. They tend to be most often right about stuff like that. And so I hear a lot of like people don't care. Yeah, somebody's coming in looking like they're trying to help, but that's fake. Why do and some of this stuff is not like all the way PC. Why do people who are newcomers in our communities receive resources and attention and care that is not flowing to us in our communities? So that's the charge we have. Like the stuff that they put in front of me every day, that's the charge that Ujima has. And so this is like, I'm going to reflect across 5 years in the space of like 60 seconds. It's just what I've seen Ujima try to do again and again. If you just like look at these businesses that I've had a chance to research and like engage with the teams, the founding teams, and like offer them like stuff to think about and like try to build with them a little bit. They've been building the whole time. They've been building maybe since they were teenagers, but they would take the input of our investment committee. They'd already been taking the UGBA's input. Kidogo, an amazing platform for cultural content for Black children, where there is such a dearth of usable stuff. Like the content for kids in general sucks, and Black children like deserve more because there's not a lot being made. And that business I was really impressed by. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. I have my highs and lows, but I think the most important thing I want to talk about was like what I see from students every day. And what I learned from Nia is like I told you I was gonna become a teacher, and like, am I still helpful? Is this like still work for Ujima? And it's a credit. It really just is like how Ujima works. And Nia's like, yeah, your perspective is widening, and the stuff that you and yeah, so they still wanted me. But but I am riding off into the sunset, and I just want to say I'm grateful to everyone on the call, everyone who supports Ujima as members at whatever level you do. Tell your friends, get your networks involved, and thank you to the whole team who got me involved in this.
We can open it up for some questions. We have a few more minutes for some questions. So if people want to ask questions, feel free to direct it at who you would like to ask. And yeah, we could take questions.
Oh, Sierra.
Hi. first time caller, long time listener. Pat, I'm really interested in what you think the best thing or most important thing you've learned is.
In my time with Ujima Project?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to just read from the discipline notes that I took, but then I expanded as I usually do. My learning, is that, it's just like something that we have, this is kind of a cop-out, but this is something we have to teach like everyone in Boston, is that our Black and POC-led founded enterprises are the most innovative, creative, financially and politically savvy enterprises, institutions in our city. And I'm just so grateful to like have all these examples that I can point to all the time. When I look at the pipeline, it's like all these businesses where people are like solving problems like every single day and using every part of their brain. And so like I knew that like intellectually, but now I feel it really deeply and I have a bunch of proof points to show people.
Finally, thank you to all of our presenters, all of our speakers, to Pat, to Louise, our Community Standards Committee, our Investment Committee, our Member Fund Management Committee, our Member Arts Leads, all of our committees and communities. It's been a great year and we are looking forward to so much more. Have a great evening. Please stay on for arts and cultural organizing. And what's the last one?
Anchors.
Anchor institution.